Hello viewers, so as I say, we're just looking at Shift 1 for a moment, just to look back at the game and look at what we're hoping to see improved in Shift 2. Obviously, the first build that we saw of Shift 1, this was one of the first ever tracks shown along with Brands Hatch, and the handling model was very different. There wasn't all this kind of swaying about of the car. I find that the cars in this do tend to sway about like boats a little bit, and tracks like this one were altered as well. So if we take a section down here, see this tunnel here is a good example. This on the original game was actually a second gear corner, and now in this game obviously it's a fifth gear corner. And I've been unable to find some video footage, but if you find video footage dating back to April 2009, you'll actually see people crashing into the left-hand wall there. And of course nobody would crash into that wall now because it's such a high speed, almost a straight into the tunnel. Then that would give you a really nice sort of flow out of the tunnel here. You know, you'd be searching for grip on this corner here. Goodness, the car is over. I find the car constantly sort of oversteers. You know, you're always sort of swaying like a boat on it on this version. It's a bit of a shame, you know, it could have been so much more. The graphics that are here are great, you know, there's lots of detail, you know, and the idea of the whole driver's experience is a good idea. You know, there are enormous physical forces on the body going through corners like this, you know. And even though as a racing fan you'll watch Formula 1 or you'll watch your race and they'll talk about the physical forces, it's difficult really getting that, you know, until you're actually in a racing car. You're strapped in, you're part of the car essentially. I mean, the seatbelts are so tight. You first put them on and you think, wow, those are a bit too tight, and then you'll go out on the circuit and after maybe, you know, 1 minute you realise that you feel your body actually sinking in with the power of acceleration. You know, you become part of the car. Again, you want to get lots of speed on these sections up the hill. This is a section I've always struggled with. Again, the car's very much like a boat there. It's kind of constantly swaying. I don't really feel there's any kind of stability in it at all. I'd like to get close to that wall, but I can never really take the line I want to take on it. It's always this constant sliding, and that's what we're going to check on our Shift 2 coverage. Is we're really going to look at the changes made to the handling model, and you know, whether the car is more stable. Now, on the version I played last November, it was better than this. The car was more stable. There was still that little swivelly nature now and again. People have talked about that, but there's no doubt that we go very wide there. There's no doubt that they're going to improve the handling, and as I say, the key word is unleashed. Is it really as unleashed as we'd like it to be? Because originally this game was meant to be essentially the simulation, whereas Hot Pursuit was to be keep the arcade fans happy, or the casual gaming market as they see it. And I think, you know, that brings us back to a conversation of, you know, what makes a racing game great, what makes a racing game sell great. And for a long time it was felt that casual gamers needed constantly dumbed down experiences. And yet you look at the market leaders on console and they are Gran Turismo and Forza, which are probably two of the games which are closest to simulation on their respective formats. So it's an odd point of view, but it seems that there is all the games companies are getting closer to simulation again. As I say, the key difference between the simulation and arcade is not always ludicrous handling. It's about so I'm going the wrong gear there. It's about making a game approachable, but yet not necessarily insulting the intelligence of the gamer always as to how logical behaviour would be. I saw someone mention the other day that I often refer to the bonnet cam as in-car, but to me, you know, when you're in a car, I'm not looking at my steering wheel here, I'm looking out of the car, I'm looking at the corners. You never really look in your car except to look at your dials, and I can see that on my HUD. So I always consider this to be my in-car view, and you know, that just gives me a view ahead of the road and a nice expansive view. So that, everybody, was a bit of Need for Speed Shift 1. I'm going to have a little muck about on this, and hopefully our Shift 2 coverage will begin within the next couple of weeks.